A little over a year ago, we decided to sell our Ford Bronco for a new vehicle that we wanted to build at MLO. The vehicle we decided on was the Lexus GX550 Overtrail that was pretty much unobtainium at the time. So after an extensive search, we were able to find that there was this very vehicle at a dealership in Queens, New York. So we bought the GX550 after a long and drawn out search, and now the plan was to lay out the build for the vehicle itself. We were determining which brands we wanted to work with for modifications, for aftermarket parts, and how we wanted to build the vehicle and for what use. So we committed to getting the parts here, starting to get it dialed in with our shop's technicians so that we could have it built and ready to rock for Overland Expo East. You know, starting every build with the kind of the foundation, and for this suspension we want to go with the top-notch suspension on the market. You know, had us really landing on king shocks and coilovers.
Yeah, they said 5 turns is equal to an inch.
And we're able to spec it based on the weight and the additional accessories that we're going to be adding to the vehicle before we install them to kind of crank it up and allow it to sustain the right ride height and feel that we're looking for on that GX550. The idea behind this build was to make this like a really clean, seamless build that we would want to reproduce for customers in the future. We were going for form, fit, function, and reliability out on the trail, something that's serviceable and that people are going to want. So we ended up going with the method wheel with more of an aggressive offset that was going to poke out of the fender wheel a little bit more, spread that stance a little bit, and as a result, we did want to go with a wider fender flare to kind of contain that, bringing that wheel out flush with those fender extensions. With the flares on and the wheel set, then we could kind of really dial in the ideal tire size that we're looking for in combination with the suspension and that wheel offset to kind of give ourselves, you know, an aggressive stance, fitting the ideal tire size without having to do a lot more crazy modifications. So when it came to the front bumper, we knew we wanted to be mounting a winch and some additional lighting. There were a number of different front bumpers on the market that were interesting to us. So we landed on the Dissent off-road high clearance front bumper. That was kind of the ideal setup that we were looking for. We were pretty pumped to work with Dissent on this new bumper that they had released that had, integrated parking sensors and everything that you'd want in terms of functionality that comes with the GX550, while gaining new front clearance and additional accessory mounting options, as well as protection for that front end. So we're pretty pumped on it, and it looks great. All right, so up front, we went with a Baja Designs 30-inch light bar with the amber lenses. Gives you some more visibility in misty, rainy conditions, wet conditions. Helps illuminate things, not be so washed out in white light that some of the light bars can provide. So we tend to favor amber a lot of times in our build. Aesthetically, it looks pretty cool too. So when we're mounting a front bumper on a vehicle like a GX550 or a 460 or 4Runner or the like, that is going to require cutting of the factory bumper, we usually tend to cut heavy, leaving extra material there that we can work back and really fine tune the body line to match that new bumper. We don't want to have this giant gap between the bumper and the new high clearance front bumper up front. So you do need some room there for flex, but you don't want to have a giant gaping hole there. So we really wanted this fit and finish to be precise, so our technicians take their time, measure multiple times, cut once, and then sometimes we do work it back a little bit and massage that body line in with the front bumper. It takes some time, but if you want it to look precise, good. If you want it to function, protect the kind of the painted surfaces that remain, then you gotta take time to make it a detailed cut. Tucking it up in more of a high clearance fashion, because that front bumper does sit down fairly low. On the GX550, we wanted to really transform the front end look of it, the approach angle, with that bumper on there and those additional accessories up front. All right, so when it came to wheels and tires, we went with a Method Racing 703 17 by 8.5 ET0 wheel. ET0 definitely gave us kind of a little bit more of an aggressive fitment and pushed those wheels out a bit in the wheel well. And as a result, we did go with those night-top fender flares. Method 703 17 by 8.5 ET0 wrapped in a BFG KM3 mud terrain 35-inch by 12.5-inch tire. Really aggressive look, really transformed it in a lot of ways, and we're really loving the aggressive stance and the feel of the vehicle on the road with this wheel and tire combo. We decided to go with the BFG mud terrain as opposed to the all-terrain. If we were just doing events and we're going to be doing mostly highway driving, we probably would have gone with the all-terrain KO series tire. But because we do intend to take this off-road, hit the trails, we wanted that more aggressive mud terrain so we can kind of really take it anywhere, and we plan to. So yeah, in conclusion, once we got this vehicle on the road, we took this out for a test drive. We hit some trails with the vehicle just to kind of break it in, and we were pleasantly surprised. This vehicle still rides like a Lexus because of those King shocks. You can really cruise, put in some serious highway miles, as we do to our different shops and regions that we work in up and down the East Coast and the different events that we attend. So easy cruising on the highway. Off-road, it feels amazing as well. Yeah, it just rides like butter. We have more plans in the future for this build. This is kind of, phase one of many in the build process of this vehicle. Stay tuned for more GX550 content coming at you from mainline Overland.